Welcome to the Intercontinental Book Launch Party for A Divine Romance by Ifueko Ogbomo. I'm your host, Ifueko Ogbomo, a prize-winning poet, storyteller, voice artist, and the author of the book that we are launching right now, A Divine Romance. 6 special guests are going to be joining me from 3 continents, including Tony Shiloh, Heidi Cheveroli, award-winning authors, singer-songwriter Sisiyama. One lucky person is going to be taking away a paperback copy signed of this book, so stay tuned for the giveaway. Fastest fingers, because I'm going to be asking a question, and the right answers will get a chance to win this. So, the book is titled A Divine Romance. And when you hear this title, you might be thinking, love with spiritual elements, and you would be right. So it's a love story, and I'd like to take a moment right now to celebrate this subject that has inspired so many songs, poems, stories, including this one, L-O-V-E, by asking you a question. This question inspired the very first spoken word piece that I ever wrote, and the question is, what is the color of love? Picture this: a dozen red roses, perfectly scented, hand-picked and delivered to your door. Champagne on ice served with juicy strawberries. Who wouldn't ask for more? The lady in the fiery red dress, every curve accentuated. You ask her name and she slowly leans over and whispers, "Call me Devon." With 6-inch heels, shimmering red lips, and perfect manicure to match, you think to yourself, man, I've died and gone to heaven. Salsa caliente, 2 bodies moving as one to the rhythm of the congas and the beats of the drums. Oh, the passion. You forget you've only just met. Hearts racing, you break out in a sweat. What's the color of love? Some might say flaming hot red. 6 foot plus, 6-pack to match, funny and charming too, cool, calm, collected. He's got his eye on you. The perfect gentleman opens doors for you, says I'm sorry when he's wrong, listens to every word you say. Girl, he even remembers your favorite song. With a smile so warm it melts your heart, and you know you cannot say no to that beautiful baritone when he goes, "Baby, you're just cool to say hello." You're the envy of all your friends. They say he's too good to be true. It's only been 3 dates, but in your heart, you know he's the man for you. What's the color of love? Some might say simply true blue. What is the color of love? Depends. What is love to you? I know a love, one that's true. It's gentle and mild, loyal and trusting like the innocence of a child, patient and kind, not known for malice or envy or greed, pure in thought, in word, and motive, and pure in deed, selflessly putting others first. It seems somewhat maternal, but taking a closer look, you see it's much more called agape. It is eternal. What's the color of love? Some say red, others blue. There's no need to fight. Just ask a bride and she'll say, duh, the color of love is white. But does love really have a color? Yes, it does, and I'll show you. But first, I need you to answer me these questions. What's the color of a starving family getting a hot meal from a stranger? Of nakedness, clothed in beauty, or being rescued from intense danger? What's the color of complete guilt, deserving judgment, instead receiving mercy and grace? You're dreading disdain, but you get honor. You expect a cold shoulder, but instead receive a warm embrace. What's the color of a man laying down his life for another, one that's neither father nor mother, not sister, not even brother? Tell me that color, and my friend, the color of love I need not name. You see, for that color and love's hue are one and the same. That is the first spoken word I ever performed way back in 2008. And then by 2009, I became a prize-winning spoken word poet, winning slam championships. By the next year after, I was performing in front of the president of my nation, Nigeria. By the next year after, I was performing on the world stage, singing for 200 schoolgirls that were kidnapped, by the Boko Haram, and on, and the rest of it is spoken word history. But indeed, yes, I know of no greater love than that of a man laying down his life for another, and that is what my eternal lover did for me. And he is the one who gave me the idea for this book. And I would like to take a moment to honor him right now by reading you the dedication of this novel. To my eternal lover, I live as you love. Breathe for breath you give. I am as you are, I am. Free for you forgive. Yes. So, truer words have not been spoken. From my heart, it is filled with gratitude right now to my eternal lover for giving me the idea for this book. And how did he do this? Mini true story. The date, April 6, 2019. The place, an Airbnb in Los Angeles. The event, me doing my quiet time of personal devotion. So I was just playing the piano, singing worship songs, my own songs to my eternal lover, my God, and these three words dropped in my spirit: write Joseph's memoirs. It was very distinct, very clear, and I picked up my prayer journal and I wrote the words down. And then this image just flashed in my head of like imagining, Joseph from the Bible, when he was in prison, maybe he was writing his story on a papyrus, or just a few words just came to mind and I wrote them down in my journal. I didn't think much about it, went about my business. 5 weeks later, the most incredible thing happens. I'm in an audience, TBN's taping of Praise on TBN, taping the TV show. Special guest was Sean Bowles talking about his book Breakthrough, and he was asked to give encouraging words to people in the audience, and he gave 4 people prophecies, and I was the 4th person. And this gentleman doesn't know me from Adam. I heard him talking about, oh, you have a writing abilities, and there's going to be novels and this and that. I had never penned so much as a word of a novel, and those 3 words that I had heard jumped right back in my spirit, right? Joseph's memoirs. So when I got interviewed after the show to be asked, what are you writing? I said, I'm writing Joseph's memoirs. And I rushed home back that night and I started writing. And I cannot tell you, I had no clue how long and tumultuous the journey would be. I cannot give you all the details because we've got guests to bring up, but I promise it involved 1 pandemic, 2 continents. It involved 3 3/4 years, 4 story versions, 14 residences, several traumas, including a moment in 2020, January 4th, when I stopped breathing in the hospital and I had to be resuscitated. And it took all that to go from those 3 words, write Joseph's memoirs, to this Valentine's Day publication of A Divine Romance. So now that you know the backstory, let me take this party to the next level by bringing up our very, very first guest. Alrighty then, so I'm just gonna go ahead and introduce to you this beautiful person that you're seeing right now. She is an award-winning, Carol Award-winning author of women's fiction, including The Orchard House, inspired by lesser-known events in the life of Louisa May Alcott. Her newest release, Hope Beyond the Waves, is a sweeping dual-time story that explores hope and enduring love in the midst of the impossible. Okay, so fun fact, she's a boy mom of 2 sons, one of whom just turned 18, and I know she doesn't look it, but she wrote her first story in the 3rd grade. I'd cross the desert for some milk, and her glowing endorsement graces the front cover of this book. And she said, in a writing style like Tessa Afshar, Ifueko Ogbomo spins a breathtaking tale readers won't be able to put down. I am floored. Please, emojis up. Applause in the comments. Joining us from Massachusetts, welcome Heidi Cheveroli. Yay! So good to see you.
Oh, I was praying so hard that this would work, and I'm so glad.
Well, it's mine that didn't work, and yours is working just fine. So anyway, as an award-winning author of women's fiction, focused on inspiring hope, and what did you think of Asenath and all the other women in this story?
Oh my goodness. Can I just say how much I love this story, first of all? I mean, I was turning the pages. I read a lot of books for endorsements, and I never know what to expect, really, and I was just so blown away by the book. So first that. But the first thing that comes mind when can you hear me okay?
Absolutely.
Okay. The first thing that comes to mind when I think of as an, am I saying that right? Okay.
Yes.
Is strength and loyalty. I mean, she is just a strong throughout the story. Once she discovers the love of the living God, she refuses to be swayed from him, even when her husband defends that love. And she knew who she was in the Lord because she'd been convinced of his love. And I love that. She just, I won't spoil it. It's amazing.
Well, thank you.
And I just love that. So I love watching her journey, her divine destiny from being this gift of raw to receiving the greatest gift of the Most High. And she waits patiently on the Lord, even in the hard, beacon of hope, because she's pointing to the one true hope for all mankind. And I appreciated what you, Ifueko, managed firmly rooting us in this period of history, because it made what as an in her journey just so real and compelling. You just have such a grasp on the historical and cultural background of that day, and you plants us in it so firmly. The story just springboards from there. It's just so authentic, and it was just beautiful. Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much. So, I mean, you write time slip novels so beautifully. I literally believe that you can time travel from how well you write time slip novels. So if you could travel back in time and go meet one of the characters in this novel, who would you like to meet?
Yeah, so it has to be enough. I have my copy here. It would have to be her. For all of the reasons I just said, but her character arc, you really see her growth and her struggles, and that for me is clinches it in a story when I can sympathize with the character and I see her faults and her vulnerability, and yet through it I see her strength and her resilient faith. And I just love that. I love the message of forgiveness. We think about Joseph in the story a lot of the Bible, but we never really think about his wife, and that was amazing. I really wanna meet her.
Yay! I want to meet her too. So, I'm just gonna say I'm just in awe. Thank you so much for taking the time to come out here today. And we're kind of behind schedule, so we're gonna jump right in. And everybody, you can get Hopi on the Waves. There's a reason why it has all 5-star reviews on Amazon and everywhere. It is amazing. You can connect with Heidi on HeidiChevarelli.com. You can also follow her on Instagram at Heidi Chevarelli. Thank you so much for being here, Heidi. So guest number 2 is going to be the Christie Award-winning author of over 50 contemporary romances. Her novel, In Search of a Prince, won the inaugural Christie Amplify Award last year, and for its excellence in storytelling, which I quote, borrowed from the author's West African heritage. Okay, so not only is this book a royal romance, it happens to be my absolute favorite princess story for many, many reasons, including the fact that this gorgeous princess on the cover happens to be from Nigeria, or at least a fictional island that was set in Africa. And it's written so beautifully. Fun fact about the next guest I'm bringing on, she used to be in the Air Force, and that's where she met her husband. I have to say, I've never, ever met an author with a more generous spirit who is constantly promoting other authors and their books. I was honored to be featured in her Wednesday excerpts just yesterday, and I'm honored to have her glowing endorsement on the back of this book. And she says it is a divine romance that will resonate in our hearts well past the last page. So, emojis up in the comments as we welcome Tony Shiloh. It is saying that Tony's unable to join. Oh my goodness. Okay, while we're trying to figure this out, I'm just going to go ahead and drop the giveaway question right now while we're trying to figure out what's going on. So the giveaway question is, who is this on the cover? And what I need you to do is basically just write the answer as her name. Well, we're gonna do it as like a Bob Hearts Abishola kind of thing. So her name, Hearts Joseph, hashtag a divine romance. Anyone who gets that right, and drop your country's flag. So it's gonna be her name, Hearts Joseph, hashtag a divine romance, and the flag of your country. And you can drop that in the comments, and one of my guests will be picking a winner for us later. I call her the queen of biblical fiction buffs. She is a biblical fiction author, a podcaster. Her debut novel, Jerusalem's Daughter, released last year as the first in a series called Generations of Faith. Book 2 is Antioch's Daughter, that's coming soon. Fun fact, she graduated magna cum laude with a BA in English, and she's married to a high school sweetheart. And let me just read to you a tiny little, the first part of what she had to say about this book. So she said, I initially thought I would read the first few pages of A Divine Romance just to satisfy my curiosity about this biblical fiction debut. One page turned into 20, 20 to 50, 50 to 100, and before I knew it, I'd finished the book. Okay, I'll let her tell you more, of course, but emojis up in the comments. Joining us right now from Branson, Missouri, welcome Jenna Van Mourik. Hi.
Oh,
You look
hi.
gorgeous.
Hey, how are you? Thank you. I tried to.
Oh, I see.
The
Perfect.
I brought purple eyes with me.
So thank you for being here. I mean, anyone who knows you knows you're passionate about using the art of storytelling to portray God's love. You read biblical fiction, you write it, you podcast about it, you know all the giants with Tessa Abstract, Connie Cassette, Mason Andrews. What endeared you the most to this debut author's retelling of Joseph's story?
Yeah, so if I'm looking down, I'm looking at my notes. But really what endeared me to the story right off the bat, most of all, was just you and your personality and your testimony and your story and the background that you brought to the characters and the similarities and the traits that you share and just your passion for it and kind of how it came to be from you and how so many things in your life prepared you to really write this story and write it so well. So there was that, but then second to that, I would just have to say the concept of it was just super unique. I read a lot of biblical fiction, and I've read a lot of different retellings and imaginings of the same story, and yours was just so different from a lot of what I'd seen, and I loved just the focus on the love story and not just their love story, but the spiritual love stories, and it was just really beautiful and how character driven the story was, and yeah, like, and the other thing too was just that I was left wanting more, but the story was so complete too. Like, I felt like I got to see the characters through so many different phases of their lives, and there wasn't a moment where I closed the book and I was like, I wish we would have gotten to see this moment, or I'm sad we won't get to see. Like, it was just so complete and so beautiful, and the characters were so rich.
Oh, wow.
It was amazing.
Thank you so much. So if you travel back in time and go meet one of the characters, maybe take a tour of ancient Egypt from one of them, who would it be?
Yeah. So I think obviously Asenath, the main character, but when you kind of emailed me your notes about this question, I was thinking about like, what would I love to be there for? And I was just thinking about all of the like banquet kind of scenes and how lavish everything was and how you describe it, just making it seem like this grand royal world would have been so fun to be there and maybe go to a party that somebody hosts. Hopefully not like a disastrous party, because without giving away spoilers, there's some moments, some very dramatic moments. But yeah, just those like the royal court scenes or the banquet kind of feasting scenes.
Yes, I'm Nigerian. We love drama. There's no way I could bring drama to the book. So, okay, so Jenna is supposed to be picking our winner. So Jenna's gonna hang out for a bit, and if anyone voted or if anyone wrote an answer that was right so far, you can pick. Otherwise, she'll let us know, you know, by sending in a comment later on. But Jenna, thank you so much for being here, and I'm thrilled. You can find out more about Jenna Van Mourik on her website, author Jenna Van Mourik. And her podcast, Biblical Fiction Buffs, is on Apple Podcasts and Spotify as well. So let's see who we have next. Joining us all the way from Asaba in Delta State, Ebos is a Christian fiction influencer. She has 500 book reviews on Goodreads. She's a diehard biblical fiction fan. She's a host of Batchia's Bits. She is a mama of a 6-month-old bouncing baby boy, and she endorsed this novel as captivating, gripping, and beautifully written. Drop some emoji applause for Ebos Aifuobhokhan, and I hope I got that right. So good to see you, Ebos.
Hello, good to see you too. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you. Oh my goodness, thank you for staying up late. And how's the bouncing baby? Okay, I want to ask you, basically, you review so many books. You read Christian fiction, you write so many reviews. Biblical fiction is your favorite genre. What was it about this particular book that made you give it 5 stars, basically?
Well, as you said, biblical fiction is my favorite subgenre of Christian fiction, and I am very particular about the authors' books that I read. Yeah, I only trust like 3 to really give me what I need. Cornel Cosette, Mr. Andrews. And so when you sent me a request to read yours, I was a bit skeptical because it was biblical fiction. I couldn't have something sour the taste in my mouth. So I was really very, very skeptical. Well, let me give it a try. Because one of the reasons I started blogging about books and talking about books because I wanted to make lesser known authors. So when you wanted me to read your debut, okay, let me give it a chance. I will probably, let's see what I can stomach this. And I was hooked. I can remember reading where I was sitting down in my sitting room. I was there from the beginning to the end of the book. I couldn't stop until I could remember where I was sitting. I couldn't stand. I couldn't do anything. I just had to finish this book. I had to finish the book, and it was amazing. The plot was gripping. The characters were so relatable. They were jumping off the pages of the book. The story, everything about the book was perfect. It was beautifully written. The research that you did to write, it was amazing. I could just imagine how much of research went into writing of the book. And what floored me was the fact that it's your first, it's your debut, and like you don't get this level of perfection, this level of skill from a debut writer. So it was that I was punished. I was so I'm still sort of words now, yeah. But it was,
I don't know what to say. I'm
really,
just like, I'm listening and I'm like,
really,
is she even talking about my book?
really, it's an amazing book. Actually, when I was reading it, I thought I was reading a Cornel Cosette book. I had to really like remind myself over and over and over again that no, it's not Cosette, because it was so beautifully written. The conversations were gripping, the dialogue was amazing, the settings was vivid. It was like I was there. I am in love with the book. It's an amazing book. Amazing book.
Thank you so much. I mean, I couldn't have asked for more glowing endorsements. And fun facts, I can tell you all of this right now. There's a reason why Ebos is one of my endorsers on this book. Because when I was giving up on this story, probably toward the end of 2021, and I was thinking, well, nobody wants it, maybe it's not interesting, maybe I don't know what I'm doing. And, that was when Ebos read this manuscript, and you heard what she said, and I was just floored, and I thought, and she said to me, look, if a traditional publisher doesn't want it, print the thing yourself because it's worth telling. And I'm so glad that I listened and didn't chuck it away because, you know, here we are, you know, and I'm so grateful for that. So that is exactly why Ebos is in the endorsements. Thank you so much for being here. It's a pleasure. Thank you so much. All right. Ebos is going to say bye to us now, and I'm going to try and bring up our next guest.
For me, my background is history. I love not just history, but African history in particular. And this book really brings to life Egypt in all its glory. You actually feel like you're sailing down the Nile. You feel like you are walking through the palaces of the pharaohs of Egypt. You can feel the warm sun on your cheek. You can feel the cool breeze going through the palm trees, all in the words that Ifueko has put on the page. For me, one of my favorite moments of the book was how she sort of gave that background history. So in the reader's guide at the beginning, she explains the terminology, the meanings of all the names, you know, the outfits people wear, like the Calasiris dresses, which, oh my gosh, I could not wait to own one of my own. And Ifueko has this art of bringing these images to light in such a vivid way. Also, what you can see in this story is how much research she has put into it. She hasn't just taken what she thinks Egypt might have been. You can tell that she has done her work, her research, to actually figure out what life was like for Egypt in the Middle Kingdom. And this is why this story is so mesmerizing, not even the love story. So, you know, when you think about it, she called Joseph not the name that we know in the Bible commonly, but she called him Zaphnath Paneah, which when translated into Egypt, that is the name that means Zaphnath, he who is called, commonly used by the Egyptians when they referred to foreigners who they renamed into Egyptian names. And Paneah, which came from the name Anku, which means he who lives, because obviously Joseph had been lost to his family, presumed dead, but yet he was the one who survived that journey, that perilous time at his first few years in Egypt, and went on to save not just his family, not just Egypt, but pretty much everyone in the Levant who was undergoing those 7 years of famine. So honestly, an amazing, amazing story. She also asked me to say what my favorite part of the book was. And it was so hard, so hard to choose because there were so many moments that made me smile and brought a tear to my eye. But perhaps my favorite part comes in chapter 17. And it's something to do with the purple iris. I see Jenna had a purple iris in the background of her moment. And so I can see that that moment probably resonated with her as well. But I won't give away any secrets. If you really want to find out about the purple iris and its significance, you have to read A Divine Romance by Ifueko and look out for chapter 17.
Alrighty, well, thank you so much, Ayo. I'm so sorry I haven't heard or seen you, but everyone's loving what you've said. It's great. Oh my God, you look amazing.
Hi.
I'm so glad that you're here. Okay, so I'm just gonna redo whatever it was that you did because I want it on the record. So Ayo Haynes is a Black history expert. She is the founder of the Flame Tree Collective, an organization that promotes the love of African history. She does the podcast Diasporan Stories. You can catch it on Spotify every week. She is my personal person from way back when we were in knee-high grasshoppers growing up in Kaduna, Nigeria. I love her kids like they're my own. I thank you so much for being here with me on my live book launch.
Hey, Ifueko, this evening has been just one that shows you the beauty of perseverance. Because when it seems like the whole world is throwing everything at you, you just hang in there, believe in God, and keep going. And that just is what this has shown. So I'm going to try and recap a little bit of what I said earlier.
Yes, so I'm asking, you know, as a Black history expert, of course, I mean, you've done podcasts on ancient Egypt, you've done all that. What did you think about the setting of the book? What did you think about the reader's guide and so on?
Well, in terms of the setting, what I loved was how you brought it to life. Because quite often when people think about Egypt, they think of it as just what is there in the pages of history. But actually, how did it feel to walk along the banks of the Nile and just feel that river breeze? How did it feel to stroll through the palaces of the pharaohs and look at the hieroglyphics, not just in pure stone, but the vivid painted colors, see the women gliding down? I mean, it all came to life in your work. But also that reader's guide that you had at the beginning explained the meanings of people's names, explained their clothing, explained, the context and the setting in such a way that actually, as you turned the pages and began to read, it just brought the story to life. And for me, history is my thing.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed and have been obsessed with history, African history especially. And Egypt is one of those that many people know a lot about. But sometimes putting it into that context, you can see that you have done your research to really kind of delve into what the actual history of Egypt was. You mentioned the pharaoh Akhenaten, who is the pharaoh from the 18th dynasty, and he was the pharaoh who brought the belief of one God into Egypt. He worshipped the Aten, the sun god, and some believe that that perhaps is linked with, the Almighty Father,
Right.
the God of all. And so there's that sort of link and tying into the story that you kind of brought in there. And again, if you're looking at it, there are some other views as to when Joseph might have actually been. And looking from the historical perspective, you've got the connections with the 12th dynasty, with the pharaohs Sesostris, who was the pharaoh at the time of the years of famine and the years of feast that we know about from the Bible story. So yeah, definitely all of that coming to life is well done, well done.
Oh, thank you so much. And so obviously, I mean, if someone was on the fence about wanting to read biblical fiction, maybe wondering, is it going to be all preachy? Is it going to be this or that? What would you say to them about the book?
Just read it. Just read it. So this story, although it is a biblical love story, is one that no matter who you are, no matter what kind of reader you are, what kind of genre you prefer, it will captivate and it will mesmerize you. And it will show you God's love in a way that you would not expect. I want to just read one quote, my favorite quote from the book, just to kind of bring that to life for you. And it's written, or it's something that kind of comes from Asenath's mouth. Halfway through the story, you hear the words. Like a tiny spark that lights a forest on fire. That was what she felt kindling in the depth of her being and in her heart. It spread through her being. She didn't bother to stop the tears effortlessly trickling down her cheeks. Why should she? She was not alone, not unseen, not unloved. He sees me. He loves me. He wants me. It was utterly beyond comprehension, but the God of Joseph, of Jacob, of Isaac, and of Abraham cared about a woman that he should consider nothing but an insignificant person. I'll stop there. But if you want to know more, you have to read A Divine Romance.
I want to know more.
Because I echo what Jenna said in her part. She said how, as she picked it up, she couldn't put it down. And I literally picked it up thinking I would read a chapter or two. And I went all through the evening, all through the night to about 6 a.m. before I put it down. I could not stop reading. So you need to get your own copy and you need to read A Divine Romance.
Thank you so much, Aya. Kisses to the little ones from me. Thank you for being here all the way from the UK, ladies and gentlemen, in our intercontinental book launch for A Divine Romance. And we're going to say goodbye with that. Bye.
Bye, everyone. Get the book.
Now, Sutioma is a superstar singer-songwriter, better known as, her name is Chioma Odimba. She's better known as Sutioma. She's a powerhouse singer-songwriter. Her album, Calvary, can be found everywhere. Her song, Wonderful Love, has over 2 million views on YouTube right now. And fun fact about her, she and I go way back in the days of choir at church, and I actually had the privilege of writing the title song for our church's choir album called Out of This World. And she and I sang the track along with our choirs. So that's how far back we go. Yes, yes, coming in all the way from Lagos, Nigeria. Oh my God, y'all, it's like 10 p.m. out there. You look fantastic. Thank you so much for being here to bless us with wonderful love.
Thank you for having me. First of all, let me say congratulations to you. Congratulations. Congratulations. A divine romance. We give God praise. Thank God for making this a possibility. I know you had your doubts, you know, as a lot of creatives usually do. But thank you for staying with it. You know, I know a lot of people are inspired by you sticking with it and ensuring that this is out. So thank you so much. God bless you. It's an honor to just, you know, sing my song Wonderful Love.
Absolutely.
Hi guys. Your love is so wonderful. Your love so wonderful, so high. I can't get over it, so low. I can't get under it, so wide. I can't get around it. Jesus, you give me wonderful love. It never runs out on me. That's the kind of love that has found me. It never leaves, it never gives up on me. See, that's the kind of grace that has found me. It never fails, it never runs out on me. Oh, that's the kind of love that has found me. Jesus' love never leaves, never gives up on me. That's the kind of grace that has found me. It is so high, I can't get over it, so low. I can't get under it, so wide, I can't get around it. Jesus, you give me wonderful love. Thank you for loving me. Thank you for saving me. Thank you for keeping me. Jesus, thank you for loving me. Thank you for saving me. Thank you for keeping me. Jesus, it's so high. I can't get over it, so low. I can't get under it, so why I can't get around it, Jesus. Oh, you give me wonderful, oh love.
Did y'all hear those lyrics? Jesus, you give me wonderful love. So high, I can't get over it. So low, can't get under it. So wide, I can't get around it.
I'm telling
Thank you. Thank you so much. His love is absolutely wonderful. And I couldn't have picked a better song for this because that is what this book is about.
Yeah.
Even more than the love between a man and a woman. And so thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. Congratulations.
Thank you. Love you. See you soon. Bye. I close this out with my very favorite poem from the book because as much as this novel is biblical fiction and as much as it features a reader's guide in the beginning, so you get to learn about the cities of ancient Egypt, you get to learn about the deities of ancient Egypt, the fashions of ancient Egypt, and you get to read ancient Egyptian names that I chose deliberately to represent either a part of the character or their appearance. For example, a character that looks like a hawk is named a name that means falcon. A character who's a mother figure has a name that means mother. And so all of that is featured in the beginning of the book. So I wanted to bring something unique to the biblical fiction table by having not just the reader's guide, not just an own voices perspective, because again, I am an African female writing about an African female, although I'm Nigerian and she's Egyptian, but we're all African. And so I wanted an own voices feel to this book naturally. Joseph was an immigrant in Egypt and I'm an immigrant here to the US, though I came willingly, even though his story was quite different. So Those are part of the things that I brought to this book, including my love for poetry, which is my love language, my therapy. It's how I best express myself. So each chapter again opens with an original short poem. And I'm going to close by sharing the favorite poem of mine from this novel. And so my favorite poem from this novel, I would like to sort of set the scene for you, give you a mental picture. So a mental picture, I want you to imagine that you've been through a lot in this relationship. Things are, it's an arranged marriage. You're not certain whether the person actually loves you or is just putting up with you and things like that. So think about how you would feel. And of course, this one is for my ladies because we love love. Think about how you would feel if you weren't sure about someone's feelings for you, whom you were interested in, and one day you receive this note all rolled up as a papyrus, and you open it up, and you hear these words. Her beauty beyond compare, her lips sweeter than honey, her skin smoother than butter, her hair softer than wool. How the glow in her eyes kindled a spark in my heart, and the light of her smile ignites an ember in my soul. How the melody of her voice inspires a song in my spirit, and the music in her laughter sparks a dance in my loins. How the passion of her spirit arouses a fire in my being, and the warmth of her soul melts down all my defenses. I lay naked, unashamed, before love's eternal flame, its brilliance in her gaze, its fervor in her touch. I stand strong, unafraid, before life's great mystery, its answer in our honesty, its meaning in our unity. Oh, the beauty of her face, oh, the glory of her kiss. Leave me lost in her embrace, for therein I find my bliss. My beloved is mine, and I hers. My heart sings a song like no other. Unending be my song of songs, unfading be my purple iris. The purple iris is very significant to this story. That is why purple irises are featured on the cover. I am indeed honored for everyone who joined me today. If you liked any bit of what you heard in my recap, the book is A Divine Romance by Ifueko Ogbomo, available as an ebook, paperback, hardcover. It's on Amazon, it's on BookBub, Goodreads, it's on IndieBound, Book Depository, Walmart, everywhere. It's everywhere. So go get yourself a copy. If you want to hear reviews, you can go to Goodreads and read some of the 5-star reviews. Actually, it's all 5-star reviews so far, and I am blown away and totally honored. So again, my name is Ifueko Ogbomo, Vex for short. I'm also called Lady Inspirologos by some. I am honored to be a prize-winning poet, a storyteller, voice artist. I am passionate above all things about inspiring with words, hence my alias Inspirologos, which has now become my publishing imprint. And so I am thrilled to add to my titles novelist as of 2 days ago and publisher. And I'm thrilled to also be adding to my titles birthday girl in 2 days, because I will be celebrating in 2 days my birthday, and I will be, let's see, there's a 3 and a 4. Oh, I'm sorry, backwards order. This is gonna be me in 2 days. So drop a happy birthday emoji for me in 2 days if you can. My birthday present. All I want for my birthday is you go get a copy, one for your mama, your daddy, your cats, your dogs, your grandpa, your grandma, your neighbors, your enemies. Go ahead and write reviews and send me all the love, literally love, that you can get. I sincerely hope this story takes you down on a fantastic journey through ancient Egypt, and that I sincerely hope that it truly is for you a divine romance. It's been a pleasure. Happy reading and happy Black History Month.